everyone. So I'm going to walk you through how to set up your paper for this assignment and how to go about writing it. Now, some of this beginning stuff you might already know some of this. This is more about how to use Word, but there are students that may be taking this class that haven't had a chance to work with it yet. So I'm going to go over some basics really quick as well. All right. So first off, what you need to do is you're going to pick one photographer from this week's lectures and you're going to analyze one of their images. Now, this doesn't have to be a specific image that was in the lecture. You can pick a photographer, then look at their other work and pick another photo. But yes, you do need to pick one photographer and one of their photos to analyze for this paper. All right, so next you're going to open up Microsoft Word and format your document according to these MLA guidelines, which are margins 1 inch on each side, 12-point Times New Roman font, and double spaced. Now you all have access to Word, and let me show you how to get there. All right, so if you are on a desktop or laptop, this is what it's going to look like. If you're not, it's going to look a little different. Just look for the same options. So here I am. I'm signed into my school email, so I'm in Outlook. And right up here, there are some icons. So if you click here, there are other apps that you can access, including Word. So let's go ahead and click on Word. And we're going to create a new blank document. Okay, so this document, we need to make sure our margins are 1 inch on all sides. Now it probably is already set up like this. If you want to double check, you can go to Layout and then Margins. And here we have normal, which is 1 inch on each side. Perfect. Now let's go back to home for a second, and you'll notice that our font is not set up how we need it. So I need to go ahead and come down here. You can scroll down. I used it recently, so I'm just going to click Times New Roman. And then we're going to make sure we're on 12-point font. Okay, the last thing we need to do is check to make sure that we are double spaced. And you're going to check this by coming right over here to More Options, the little 3 dots, and going to Paragraph Options. And here there's a bunch of different stuff going on. What we really need to come down to is the line spacing, and click here and go to double. Click OK. And now we're double spaced. Sweet. All right. So first off, you need to add your name, my name, class, and date in the top left corner. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so I went ahead and threw it in so you'd have your name, my name, photo 6, and then the date. Now, this right here really doesn't need to be double spaced. So let's go back up here to Paragraph Options, and let's just go to 1.5, and that'll be fine. All right, so next we need to go ahead and add a title. Now for now, you can just use the title of the actual piece. For my example, I'm doing Edward Weston's Pepper No. 30, but later on you're going to come back and you're going to write a little bit more of a creative or descriptive title based on your most important findings. So my title is going to start off as Pepper No. 30 by Edward Weston. Okay, now something important to know is when we're writing about artworks, the artworks are always italicized. So let's go ahead and take care of that. And for the title, we do want this centered. So we're going to come right up here to the alignment and click center. Now, later on, after I've written this paper, I'm going to realize what I'm going to be focusing on. So if I was writing my paper on this pepper image, what my findings would be is that this image for me is really about the study of light and anthropomorphic objects. Anthropomorphic objects means objects that look human-like or that have human-like characteristics. So that's going to end up being my title. So I'm actually going to do Weston. Let's see. Now don't worry about this part yet. Like I said, come back to this at the end and replace your title. The study of light and anthropomorphic objects. Sweet. All right. So I'm going to hit return, but once I do, it's still centered. So I need to make sure I come back up here and go ahead and hit left alignment. All right, so next I'm going to find an image of the photograph online and copy and paste it into your document under the title. This is going to help you write your paper. You need to be looking, you're analyzing the image, you need to be looking at it. So I'm going to go ahead and I have it searched here. And so if I click here, all right, this is going to work fine. I'm just going to go ahead and hit right click. And you can copy and paste the image in. Sometimes there's some issues with that. So I'm actually going to save the image. And that's fine. I can leave it in my downloads. I'm going to rename it though, Weston Pepper. Okay, and now I'm going to come back here to my document. And I'm going to add it in by going over here to insert and then going to picture. I'm going to go ahead and put in this device, and I'm going to come to my downloads, and there's my pepper, and click open. Okay, this is looking pretty big, so you know, that's why there's going to be some space in your paper for this, but that's fine. You need to be able to see it as you're writing about it. So let's go ahead and think about our paper. So for your first paragraph, you are really going to be introducing this. You're just going to tell me the title of the piece, the name of the artist, and what it was initially about the image that caught your attention. This doesn't have to be super long, but I do need to get this information in. Next, you're going to be talking about, well, you're going to be describing the image. And this will probably be the longest paragraph in your image. Now, the reason why we're taking the time to describe it is like, yes, I can look at this image and say, oh, it's a pepper. But when we slow down and actually describe an image, it forces us to think a little bit more about it. So, some things to think about when you're describing it is the placement of the main subject and other compositional elements, the angle that was used, the quality and direction of light, any compositional techniques used, and or how the composition flows. So for this image, I could write, you know, well, it definitely looks like it was probably a softer light. I'm thinking maybe a window light. There's not really these hard edges. There's a pepper in the center of the image. Now, the pepper isn't a perfect pepper. It's moving around, and it almost feels like there's two pieces right here. So there's the two top sections of the pepper are swirling up and around and almost look like maybe arms or hands or even maybe two heads of people swirling around into each other. So what is this making me feel, right? So you're basically, like I said, describing the image. There's a darker area at the top and it comes down into a gradient at the bottom. The angle of view that it was taken in was straight on, so it wasn't taken above or below, it was taken straight on. The pepper fills most of the frame. I feel like when I look at this image, I enter in here and this piece of the pepper becomes like a leading line that takes me up into these two bulbous areas that feel like either hands or maybe two people, two different heads or something, maybe two heads of the same person. And that's where I got this feeling, and this is just how I'm feeling about it. I'm seeing this anthropomorphic imagery, I'm relating it as it being another human being. You know, this part, there's not really a whole lot of right or wrong in your interpretation. Now there is right and wrong and, you know, the angle and the type of lighting and such, that's very specific, but your interpretation can be different. So you're going to spend quite a bit of time on this and you might have to rewrite this a little bit. That's okay. Like I said, really trying to slow down and look at the image and describe it is going to help you a lot with this project because it's going to help guide you on how you're going to shoot your image. Okay, so next we have paragraph 3. you're going to look up the image and artist online and find information on what inspired them. You might be reading some information about their background story, if that has to do with the project, or what was going on with this. Now, when you're doing this, I would say prioritize sources such as the artist websites, museums, and other universities. And I say this instead, prioritize it over social media or opinion blogs, because we want to get more straight to what they were thinking versus what other people's opinions are on the work. Other people's opinions can be helpful, and that's why I did put in museums and universities. But yeah, don't reference a Facebook photo that says this is a stupid photo because it's a photo of a pepper. Okay, don't reference that kind of stuff. So for example, when I searched the image, I had just put in Weston pepper, and let's move up here, and I had gone to images. Now, if I go to all, there's going to be some other stuff that comes up. Now, Wikipedia can be a good starting place, but this one here from MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, would be a pretty good place to start. Now, if you are going to start with Wikipedia, let me show you something. So let's go to Wikipedia. And every time you see a number here, that means that it is being referenced from another source. So this can actually be a really great place to find better sources. It looks like this one is from probably an exhibition, Edward Weston Photographs from the Center for Creative Photography, Tucson. Okay, so this looks like it was probably written from an exhibition that they had of his work. Maybe it was the curator's writing on it. So what you can do is you can click on here, and it'll take you down to where it is. Now, this doesn't have any specific websites attached to it, so we can't go straight to the source. But down here, it looks like there was something that was online from petapixel.com. So we can click here, and what? I did not know this was a 4-hour exposure at f/4240. Oh my goodness. Okay, I can't get distracted. So wow. Okay, so you can come in, and Petapixel, it's a photographer website, so that should work. Now let's go back to this other site real quick. One more. Okay, so then we have the MoMA exhibition. Let's take a look at what this is. So it looks like there's some audio, and there's some writing by different people from the museum, the director, the assistant curator. I'm not sure who Esther Adler is, but someone important to the exhibition as well. So here's some writings that we can read about also. Now, as you are looking up these sources, you are going to be wanting to make sure that you cite them, because what's going to happen is this third paragraph is all about summarizing your findings in your own words. And really quickly, basically what summarizing means is rewriting the information without using quotes. So you're not copying the information, you're not quoting the information, but think of it as if, you read all this stuff and then someone asked you, hey, what did you just read? Then you would explain it in your own words, okay? But as you go and you're reading these sources, you do want to go ahead and add a citation page or a works cited page. So let's go back and do that. So let's pretend, let's see. All right, so I wrote my paragraph 1 and 2, and I'm starting on my paragraph 3, but I want to go ahead and start citing my pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to Insert and click on Page Break. What this is going to do is that no matter how long this area gets up here, this next page is always going to go onto a new page, and that's what we want for our works cited page. So let's go ahead and type in works cited, and I want to go ahead and make sure that this is centered as well. Okay, but I don't want the rest to be centered. All right, so let's say that I wanted to, actually let me go back to this Petapixel. that's a good one. So we want to go ahead and cite this website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use EasyBib, which is a bibliography generator, basically. So let's go ahead and let me open this. I'll pull it in over here. And this helps you create citations. So let's go ahead and click on Create Citations. And first you're going to choose your source. My source is a website. So let me go back to Petapixel, and I'm going to go ahead and let's move this up. Click on here, click Command A, Command All, and then click Command C. And I'm sorry, if you're on a Windows machine, it's going to be Control instead. So it's Command or Control depending on what kind of machine you are. Mac is going to be Command, PC is Control. So Command C or Control C to copy. And then I'm going to come here and hit Command P to paste. Oops, what did I hit? Did I hit cancel? I'm sorry, Command P, that's what, Command V. Oh, it's been a long day. Command V or Control V to paste. Command P is print, duh, that's why print came up. So here we go, search, and one result found. Here is the website. I'm going to go ahead and click on Cite. All right, so here's all the information they found to create the citation. It says that we're going to have to insert some publisher or sponsor, so that's fine. Let's click Continue. All right, and so it's asking for some information. So do we have an author? Let's go back here. And yes, we do, Michael Zhang. So I'm going to hit Command C or Control C to copy. And what was it? Michael Zhang with an H. Okay, so let's go ahead and go here. Michael Zhang. Oops, not middle name. Zhang. All right, cool. And that was the author, publisher, sponsor. Publisher is also Petapixel. And do your best on this, guys. You know, some of this information might not be apparent, and that's okay. All right, so I'm going to hit Complete Citation. Oh, and so I have to view a sponsored message or sign in. That's what happens when you deal with free stuff. So I'm going to pause for a second while I watch the sponsored message. Okay, so I watched their video, and now we have a couple of different citations that came up. Oh, this was the one that I had done of the other one earlier. So anyways, let's go ahead and click on this, and it looks like I can, stupid ads. So when you say stuff like stupid ads, realize that the ads are there to help them pay for their website costs. So I guess I shouldn't say stupid ads. They're just trying to pay their bills. Anyways, I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to click Copy Citation. Yay, citation copied. Let's go back to our Word document, and now hit Command V or Control V to paste. And there's our citation. Yes. So as you're reading stuff, make sure that you're getting these citations and entering them in. Now, you do need to have at least 2 sources for your paper. So if I come back here, and let's go ahead and click on this one, copy citation. Okay, and Command V. All right, so I got my 2 citations. Awesome. All right, and again, this third paragraph is finding information on what inspired them, or what inspired the project, or just any general information that's going to help you figure out how they did their work to help you as you're working on your project. All right, so last but not least, the conclusion. So paragraph 4 is going to be you telling me how all the information above, the description and the the reading that you've done has impacted you and what you thought about the artist and their photos. And then you're going to tell me what about all that you are going to incorporate. So, you know, if we're talking about the pepper, I'm going to be talking about, you know, I had no idea that this was a 4-hour long exposure. And, you know, this is part of how he was able to capture this beautiful luminous light. I'm going to experiment. I can't do, with my cameras I have, well, no, I don't think I have any cameras that I could do a 4-hour long exposure with without it being super dark. No, anyways, that'd be all part of what I'd be writing right now, is if I could do this or not, how I'm going to do this. You know, I also noticed that for me at least, this pepper had human-like characteristics, so I'm going to try to do something similar. I'm going to look for peppers at the grocery store, or maybe something else, maybe some other fruit or vegetable, or an inanimate object basically that reminds me of a person or has characteristics like a person would have, and I'm going to try to shoot it in a similar way that Edward Weston did. Yeah, super fun, right? All right, so let's look at some more of the assignment requirements. So if you guys have any questions, come on, there we go. You can send me your emails ASAP. So what you're going to be turning in is going to be one docx file named, last name, first name, photograph name, formatted as described above. What I mean by formatted is that 12-point Times New Roman, all that stuff. Your paper should be 2.5 to 4 pages long. Okay, and that's going to include, you know, everything so far. So we have half a page for the name, class, info, and photo. So that's all this stuff here. So that should take about half a page. So once you're done writing, if this is taking up more than half a page, go ahead and make it smaller. All right, all I did was click on the photo and then clicked and drag on this corner, and now I can make it smaller. Then you need to have at least 1 page of writing. You have 4 paragraphs here, so you need to have at least 1 page of writing. If you're short on your 1 page of writing, the easiest thing is going to be to go back to the description and describe some more. But yeah, you need to have at least 1 page of writing, and then you have to have at least 1 page for your works cited, because you do need to have 2 sources minimum. Okay, guys, down here there is a rubric showing exactly what I'm going to be grading on, and it's basically everything that I just talked about. So if you want to go back through this, that's completely fine. All right, guys, I know this ended up being quite a long video, but for those of you who have never written a paper like this, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions at all, please send me an email ASAP.